Hey you guys, it's Lauren. Welcome back. So in today's video, we'll be talking about makeup dupes, and also actually I have a skincare dupe as well, but we're gonna do a head-to-head. We're gonna battle out some high-end options with some lower end, more affordable options, lots of drugstore, and I do have some, I guess they're not really drugstore. I have the Daydream palette, which is by the Alter Ego brand, also a Kylie blush, and in some cases the higher end does beat out the lower end, just so you know, but mainly I did find, you know, a lot of good dupes out here that far rival these higher end options. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll go ahead and get right into it. I have two mineral sunscreens here. One is from Ren, the Clean Screen Mineral SPF of 30, and then the one from Purito. This is a Korean skincare brand, the Comfy Water Sunblock. Love this stuff. Super lightweight, really mattifying, but still hydrating in the same sense. It allows for a nice smooth base before you put on makeup. So I'll put the Purito on the left side of my face. This is super lightweight. This feels so good going onto the skin, and you'll see it just immediately just kind of becomes one with your skin, and it doesn't, there's absolutely no white base to it whatsoever, which is why I love it. And you could pile it on and it never pills with makeup or anything, so it's a really great sunscreen. Now, I wanted to compare it with the Ren sunscreen because the only difference, the Ren sunscreen is a little bit more mattifying and has a little bit more of a grip to it. So it works really great underneath foundation for that reason. It makes foundation actually last, but I've never really put these two head to head, so we will see. So let's try the Ren on the right side of my face. This one is a little heavier, a little thicker, but it has more of like a whipped consistency. It feels lightweight on the skin, but I haven't used this in a while, but from what I remember, I think when it dries down, it kind of feels a little tight on the skin. You know, this looks like it's gonna have a little bit more of a white cast than the Purito does. Ew, it's looking a little purpley. All right, this is getting a little hard to blend. Yeah, oh gosh, this sets really quick. Not the best for if you have dry skin, but I always just liked how it had that grip to it. But yeah, kind of, it has that tight feeling on the skin, and it definitely, I would say this has a white cast. So in comparing the two on initial impression, I definitely like the Purito side better. All right, so while that sunscreen's setting, gosh, it's feeling this Ren side. I think I told you guys about my little skin issue that I've been having. My skin's been super sensitive. I think it's a hormonal thing, but I'm feeling this like tingle on the right side of my face. And I know that Ren has fragrance in here. I think it's, yeah, it has a couple of essential oils in here and also linalool. So it might be that fragrant component, but oh, if my face starts getting red, I might have to wash this off, but we'll see how this goes. All right, so for eyes, I wanted to compare the Alter Ego Daydream palette with Tati Beauty's Volume 1 Texture Neutrals palette. So Alter Ego is famous for these dupe palettes, and they really make some great eyeshadows. I love the Sahara palette. That one's supposed to be a dupe for the Natasha Denona Viva palette. This has been sitting in my collection forever, and I haven't touched it. I guess I just don't reach for these more mauve-y, pinky tones a lot. I definitely reach for more cool tones, more neutral tones, but I wanted to compare it to the purples in the Tati Beauty palette. But look at these colors. It's so gorgeous. I love it. It has these like textured glitter in here. Also these shimmers. It looks really pretty. But we'll go on the right side with the Tati Beauty palette first. And I wanted to check out, let's go into Soothe. We'll use that as a transition color. The one thing about this Tati Beauty palette, I absolutely, first of all, I love it. The shadows perform so nicely. They're so smooth. They blend out so easily. But it's definitely more on the warmer toned side, which I'm more of a cool toned kind of gal when it comes to shadows. But like I said, these perform so nicely. I cannot wait to see what she has up her sleeve. I'm sure she's going to come out with an amazing cool tone palette. But there is just no denying the blendability of these shadows. It's just, oh, do you see that? Like 2 sweeps and you're done. They just work so nicely. Just obsessed. And then for the outer V, I wanted to go into the shade Poet, this fuchsia toned shade. I don't know if you can tell on the brush how vibrant and pigmented that shade is. Oh, these are just some of the best. This palette is a blast to play with. I just love it. Place a little bit more pigment on the brush. I want to deposit most of the pigment on that outer corner and then bring it to the inner corner. And that outer V even more. I wanted to go into the shade Ritual. This is that deeper chocolate brown. This eyeshadow brush is my favorite for the outer V. It's from the JH collection, from the Morphe. I'll link it down below. I forget what it's exactly called, but we all know Jaclyn Hill has had her share of issues when it comes to releases, but this is one of my favorites from her by far. All right, so now let's do a little switcheroo. I'll go into the Daydream palette and then I'll go back to the Tati side to do the glitter and to clean it up a little bit better. The Daydream palette, let's see, what do we want to use for a transition? This upper corner shade, this color Sunkissed. It's definitely more of like a mauvier toned transition, but the depth is about the same. A little bit more ashy toned. Okay, it's not as pigmented for sure, but it goes on really smooth. Okay, so now I wanted to go into Enchanted for the outer V. This looks most similar to the shade Poet from Tati's palette, so I feel like that'll match pretty well. And then swatched, here's Enchanted from Alter Ego, and then here's Poet. Oh wow, see, that goes on a lot more like saturated and vibrant than Enchanted did initially. All right, let's see how these compare side to side. All right, then we'll deepen that outer V like we did on the Tati side. I'll go into the shade Daybreak. Looks pretty similar to the shade Ritual. Maybe actually a little bit more warm toned in this palette than it is in the Tati palette when it comes to this muddy brown shade. On the lower eyelid, I'm gonna go in with Fawn. And then I'm just going in with Soothe on the Tati side. I know this probably looks crazy right now. Looks like I have black under eyes, but if you have super teensy eyes, this trick really helps to enlarge your eyes, bringing that shadow down just to helps your eye pop, creating that depth lower down just gives the illusion that your eyes are a little bigger. I love this trick, but it just looks so scary initially. Okay, let's do the glitter next. We'll go back into the Poet row from Tati's palette. Let me swatch this for you guys so you can see the gorgeousness of this glitter. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. This is what made me fall in love with this palette. So beautiful. Oh, it's so pretty. That truly metallic mirror-like effect, which I feel like is hard to get with a glitter swatch. Usually they end up a little patchy. Let's go into Starlight from the Alter Ego palette and see how it compares. The shade looks really similar. Let's see how the swatch is next to it. That one's maybe a little bit darker. You're definitely not getting a smooth, opaque glitter effect like you're getting from the Tati palette, but we'll see how it looks on the eyes. Oh, I just think this glitter is so pretty. Just love it. Her glitter applies so nicely. It has a little bit of stickiness to it. I honestly wish there was a little bit more adherence with the glitter because you will get some fallout. Let's try the Alter Ego side and see how it compares. I'm not getting like a concentrated section of glitter like I did with the Tati side. Yeah, even though the color's off a little bit, it's still, the glitter doesn't look as vibrant and as textured as that Tati side. I don't know, the Tati side is just so impactful. That glitter is, oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. All right, let me go in and I'm just gonna clean up the eye look a little bit. I'm gonna deepen the outer edges on both sides, pop in a little brow bone highlight, and then we'll go to the mascara. To mention a few things. So the Alter Ego palette, I noticed on that side it was a little bit harder to blend out. Oh gosh, you guys. So you'll notice I'm pointing to my right eye when I'm talking about the Alter Ego shadow. When I reapplied my makeup, sometimes I have to do my videos in 2 segments because I film when the girls are sleeping, and I put the Alter Ego shadow on the side with the higher end makeup. I don't know what the heck I was thinking. So sorry about that. The second half of this video, you'll see the Alter Ego shadow on the right eye. Oh man, how are you allowed to blame mom brain on things? Myself in the mirror and I wasn't actually looking into the viewfinder. I noticed some more harsher lines. I took a dry brush and I just tried to get that more diffuse like gradient look. With the Tati side, I felt like, I don't know, it was already a smooth look. It looked really blended. So the Alter Ego palette definitely took a little bit more effort. The Tati side is like so bright and vibrant and shimmery and oh, just gorgeousness. But the Alter Ego side definitely, the glitter's a little bit more sparse. I wasn't able to get that opaque application. It wasn't as even. So yeah, it's just not as impactful as the Tati side. So I would definitely say the Tati Texture Neutrals was the winner with the eyeshadow. Now I also popped on some eyebrows. I used my NYX Precision Brow Pencil. One of my favorites. I didn't even compare it with a high end because I always buy drugstore brow pencils and this is one of my favorites. And then I also used for liner the Sigma Liquid Pen Eyeliner. This I wouldn't recommend so much. I don't even know why I used this today. It was the only thing that was in front of me, but It's already, is it fading yet? Maybe not. But this is one liner that always fails me, so wouldn't recommend this so much, but it's just what I had in front of me. And then for mascara, I wanted to compare the Essence You Better Work mascara. You guys know I've been raving about this. One of my favorite drugstore mascaras. It holds up so well, but it's very similar to the Hourglass Caution mascara in that the Hourglass it's so lengthening and defining. It lasts a long time. It's not clumpy. It's just such a great formula. It's just one of those effortless mascaras. Like, you know you're gonna get awesome dramatic lashes like every single time. So I love it. It's just a no fail for me, but I do feel like the Essence one performs just as well. I have to admit, I had almost instantaneous makeup regret when I brought this mascara home. I'm like, did I really spend $29 on a mascara? But as soon as I used it for the first time, I'm like, I knew this guy was worth it. It's just so amazing. It makes your lashes just so dramatic looking, and it truly gives that false lash effect. But I feel like it holds up just as well as the Essence mascara does. All right, then I'm just going on the right eye with the Essence mascara. Now the thing with this, you're not getting instantaneous volume like you do with the Hourglass. This definitely takes a little bit more to build up, but the end result looks exactly the same, and I feel like it holds up just as well. I just love that. It's just so easy to get precise definition with this mascara. Like, you never have to worry about clumpiness or anything. And it really is it claimed to be sweat proof? It's supposed to be gym proof makeup, this whole You Better Work line. And I do feel like I wear it to the gym, and not that I'm working up a crazy sweat because, oh gosh, I have to admit, I've been to the gym, I think, oh gosh, twice since the baby's been born. It's sad to admit. But when I go, I literally just walk on the treadmill on an incline. So I'm not really burning up a sweat. But even with that, I don't know, I get a couple beads here and there, and it does last. I never have to worry about raccoon eyes or anything like that. And mascara is the one makeup item that I always, when I run out the door, I have on. That and like a light BB cream. So yeah, this is just a never fail mascara. See, it looks just the same. All right, now for complexion products. I wanted to dupe NYX's BB Cream against Bite Beauty's Changemaker Micellar Foundation. The NYX's BB Cream, I've been wearing this forever. It has such a beautiful finish, and it has that like medium coverage that the Bite Beauty foundation gives. So I wanted to see how they compared against each other. So we'll start with the Bite Beauty on the side of my face. We'll start with a light coverage. Now, this, I didn't give it the most glowing review. While it does give, it fools you. It's like literally one of those foundations that plays tricks with your mind, I swear. Because when you first apply it, it looks like your skin, it looks so pretty. It looks like this nice flawless finish. It really evens out your skin tone. But as it settles, it really accentuates pores, it accentuates texture, and the coverage just doesn't hold up. So look at that, it looks so pretty on the skin, but for the most part, I just don't like how it sets throughout the day. And honestly, you can get the same coverage from a drugstore foundation. Not to say that I wouldn't spend money on a medium coverage foundation that looks like skin, but there's so many great options out there at the drugstore. I talked about the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation being a dupe for it as well, but also this NYX BB Cream. And when I was thinking back to the coverage of this BB Cream, I haven't reached for this in a while, it reminded me a lot of the Bite Beauty in that it had this like brightening finish, it had a slightly dewiness to it, so I wanted to see how it looked against the Bite Beauties. So, alright, so if you guys haven't heard about this one before, this has been out for a while, but it's a BB cream, so it's a lightweight coverage, it's supposed to brighten, smooth, and moisturize. It's oil-free and mineral enriched, whatever that means. I'll have to look at the ingredients, but that probably just means, you know, some vitamin E in here, some moisturization factors, some emollients. It is, I remember being a really moisturizing BB cream. So let's see how this goes. I'm gonna use my Eco Tool sponge to apply this. I have the, what shade are you? The Natural Finish. And it is a pretty adaptable shade to me. Like, I can wear this in the summer too. Now, do you guys see that coverage? Like, it pretty much almost covered up my melasma spot right there. It's still poking through, but it's still a nice natural finish. Very similar to the Bite Beauty. Like, it has that sheen to it, but it's not overly dewy. And it's blending out very easily. It doesn't feel heavy or cakey at all. If you look close, let's compare these. So, do you see how my pores are much more visible on this side? I feel like this side of my face looks so much more smooth. Yeah, the NYX is definitely smoother. The finish is just as pretty and as skin-like as the Bite side. The coverage is about the same. You get the same amount of medium coverage, but some more smoothness on the NYX side. So I'm happy with the NYX. I'm definitely gonna go back to it. Like I said, I used to wear that all the time, but this just made me realize why I used to love this so much and why it was such a staple. Very excited. And you do get some like brightening. There's no shimmer in this whatsoever, but there's a little bit, I don't know, there's a sheen, but it's not too dewy, which I really like. So yeah, I'm excited about that. All right, so now let's compare one of my favorite high-end concealers, Charlotte Tilbury's Magic Away, to NYX's Born to Glow Concealer. Now this, I didn't give the most favorable review. It did crease. It's not the best with mature skin. I do feel like it settled into fine lines, but I wanted to see if I set it a little bit better and maybe, I don't know, I just wanted to see how it compared head to head with the Charlotte Tilbury, because I did see some people compare these two, and they both have the sponge tip. They both have a radiant finish. There are some similarities, so let's just see if the Charlotte Tilbury is worth the money. So let's apply this on that left side. I'll go in with just the sponge tip. I like how the sponge deposits just a thin layer. It's not causing you to just put a whole dollop of concealer underneath your eye. Oh, this concealer is just the perfect amount of coverage. Like, it's high coverage, but it still looks nice and natural. It looks like your skin. It doesn't accentuate fine lines. You see how brightening that is? So pretty. Definitely cancels out any darkness. A little bit on the chinny chin there, a little on the nose. Okay, so yeah, really brightening, really radiant. I love that concealer. All right, so then we'll try out the NYX Born to Glow concealer on the right side. Believe it or not, I like this sponge tip a little bit better than the Charlotte Tilbury. Even though it's a little stiffer, you can actually see the product like squeeze out as you're squeezing the tube. The Charlotte Tilbury, you kind of have no idea what you're working with until you're pressing the sponge tip down. So I like that. It's a little bit cleaner, but I do remember liking the Charlotte Tilbury concealer better. Okay. I'm getting some nice coverage with this. It's not as full coverage as the Charlotte Tilbury, but it is covering my sunspot right there. It feels just as lightweight, but oh yeah, I already can see that. It's accentuating my fine lines. I'll do a little zoom so you guys can see, but oh man, yeah. Oh yeah, this is putting on 10 years for sure. Do you see all my lines there? It's definitely settling in my inner corner already. And up against the Charlotte Tilbury, I mean, you can see my lines, but it's not settling like how the NYX is. Let me see if I can set it with some powder. Let's try it. We'll go and use the Bite Beauty powder. And this I've been loving. This has been my favorite from that launch, besides those lipsticks, those Power Matte lipsticks. It's just really easy to get that airbrush look with this. And I'm really super picky with powder because my skin is very dry. Here's the NYX side, and then here's the Charlotte Tilbury. So I just feel like, oh gosh. Yep, definitely more fine lines on that right side. So I would not say it's a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury. It gives that radiant finish, but the fact that it accentuates every single line and it makes my skin look extra dry, just not a fan of. If you're looking for a gorgeous radiant concealer, go for the Charlotte Tilbury. Oh my gosh, I feel like it is worth the splurge. But there's so many amazing drugstore concealers out there. You guys have to check out the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop, I think, is a hugely underrated drugstore concealer out there. Also, you guys are recommending the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer that I've been dying to try. I'm hearing that one's great. So many great options, but yeah, there's not too many concealers that compare to the Charlotte Tilbury, in my opinion. I just love that so much. And I had such high hopes with that NYX concealer because I love the Born to Glow foundation so much, but yeah, this just accentuates fine lines way too much in my eyes. So bummer there. All right, so I'm just going in with a light dusting of this Bite powder, and then we'll go into the blush. So I'll use the same Luxie brush, which, by the way, I've been loving. This is the small tapered blush brush, I think it's called. I'll link it down below. Love it. It gives such a pretty diffuse look to your powder products. It's just so gorgeous. Nice and soft and not too dense. Oh, I'm just obsessed. And then for blushes, I wanted to compare Patrick Ta's blush in She's Sincere. It's this gorgeous neutral peachy toned color. It's such a perfect like neutral blush. I love it. The Kylie blush in the shade Close to Perfect looks almost identical. They both have a hint of pink to them. They're perfectly nude in the most perfect way. I don't know, they just look so nice and natural on the face, and I love how they're complementary to warm toned and cool tone looks. I just can't get enough of both of these. The Patrick Ta blushes, when I first used these, I'll talk while I'm applying this, but when I first tried this, I was honestly maybe a little underwhelmed because the pigment is not as intense. And I'm like, I spent $30 something for this blush that barely even shows up. But that's what makes this blush so great. Like, it's not too pigmented in the fact that you have to think about it when you're applying it. You just get the perfect amount of color every single time you apply this. You never have to worry about overdoing it with these blushes. They're absolutely gorgeous. Like, see that pretty flush? It's just enough. They're nice and natural. I love them. If you like a pigmented blush, these will not be for you, but if you just like a nice everyday look, these are absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so let's try the Kylie blush up against that. The Kylie blush I know is not a drugstore option, but I wanted to talk about it in this video because I think I got this for $10. Ever so often these do go on sale, and this full price is $18. So still half the price of the Patrick Ta blush, and the color is exactly the same. So I just couldn't pass up talking about this. But the formula is a little bit dustier than the Patrick Ta. I don't know if you can see there's a little bit of flakiness coming down off of the powder, but it's still the most, just like the Patrick Ta, the most perfect amount of pigment. And they look exactly the same on the cheeks. You see that? No sheen at all. They're both pretty matte, but still natural, like not a dull matte. Really pretty. I just love both of those so much. If you're looking for a nice everyday blush, this Kylie Close to Perfect shade is amazing. I would say it definitely rivals the Patrick Ta. You do not have to spend the money for this, but if you're looking for a perfectly pigmented blush, these are absolutely gorgeous, and I love the shades. I want to pick up some more of these, but the Kylie blush, you're gonna get the same look. Just love it. All right, now let's talk some highlight. So the Glow Kit by Anastasia of Beverly Hills, the Sugar Glow Kit in particular, is one of my holy grail highlighters. Oh my gosh, the Starburst shade is this perfectly pinky toned shade that I absolutely love. It's down here, so pretty. The littlest bit goes a long way. It's just it's that blingy highlight, but you don't need too much of it. Gives your face that like beautiful, gorgeous dewiness. Oh, I love it so much. Let's just go in with that, and then we'll talk about the Essence highlight. But you just need a little bit. Oh, like how pretty. And I love the pinkiness it has to it because it looks, you know, just natural. Oh, I just love it. It's perfectly dewy. It's one of my favorites. I wanted to see how this compared to the new Essence Pure Nude Sunlighter palette. I think these are new. Essence sent these. Oh my goodness. Okay. Total makeup tragedy. I have highlighter powder everywhere, on my phone, on my rug. One of the pans fell out of my palette, from my Essence palette. It's fine. It wasn't the shade I was going to reach for anyway. We're going to go into, oh gosh, let's try out this shade down here. It's probably most similar to that Starburst shade. But I was about to say that I was so excited to receive this email from Essence to send me out PR. Essence is one of my favorite brands. High-end, low-end, they have the best. I feel like the value is just unlike any other. Everything is so cheap and the quality is so great. I mean, obviously, we're seeing now the packaging might not always be the best, but the quality of makeup that you get for the prices, it's just amazing. Their mascaras, their blushes, the one Satin Touch blush, I actually was going to include that today over the Kylie blush because that's even cheaper, but I saw it's not available anymore. But their products are just amazing. But anyway, they sent me out this new Sunlighter palette, and it looked a lot like the Glow Kit palette. Let me show you guys how they look side by side. The Sunlighter palette is a little bit more on the peachier side, but the colors are very similar. You just don't get that stark white shade that you do in the ABH. And yeah, let's try this peachy tone shade. Okay. It's a little underwhelming. It's really highlighting, oh gosh, yeah. It's really accentuating my fine lines over here. Maybe it's the color. I'm gonna go into this lighter shade. Maybe it's just a little too dark for me. Oh yeah, that's better. Oh, that one's really pretty, okay. Essence definitely holds their own when it comes to highlighter as well. The Pure Nude highlighter, the original one, is, oh my gosh, that one's gorgeous as well. But yeah, that first shade I guess I wasn't impressed with, but I do like that champagne-y shade. It's very pretty. I don't know if you have to buy this whole highlighting palette. You could easily just get the Pure Nude highlight. It's available as a single. It's a little cheaper than this. All right, so now we'll move on to lips last. Probably, you guys know my favorite part of makeup application. I love my lipsticks. I wanted to compare the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude. Oh gosh, you are dirty. How is there coffee all over you? This is so embarrassing, guys. There's like coffee stains on my lipstick. I think this has been in my purse. But this is the shade Sava from the I Need a Nude lipstick line from Natasha Denona. This is a gorgeous, like, everyday pink. It's that Your Lips But Better shade that I love. A perfect nude. Not too light, not too dark. It doesn't wash out your lips. Not too pale. Just gives your lips that extra something. Such a wearable color. But I also love this nude cream shade by Milani. It's also that same everyday peachy pink shade, just enough pink to it. So pretty. It looks very similar to the I Need a Nude, but maybe a little bit mauvier, a little bit pinkier. But honestly, in this situation, I think the Milani is even creamier, even more buttery than the Natasha Denona's. I was so, not put off, but I was so perplexed, I guess would be the word, when I read the details, the description on Sephora's website. They described the finish of these as a luminous finish. Not a luminous finish, right? I mean, it's creamy, it's nice, but for some reason I was expecting a glossy finish from these. They still wear really nicely, but I really don't think the formula is as creamy as these Milani lipsticks. There's nothing like these Milani lipsticks from the drugstore. I'm just obsessed. Took a little bit of a risk there applying a slightly different tone shade on my lips, but it actually looks pretty even. But yeah, I love these Milani lipsticks. They're just so creamy and nourishing on the lip. I'd love to see more shades in this range. They did come out with a bold matte range that I really like. They have this one shade called I Am Smart. I included that in a favorites recently. That's a gorgeous shade, but this nude cream shade is the perfect wearable pink. I love it. So this is definitely a winner in my eyes. I was just about to give my final thoughts, but I just realized I forgot to put on bronzer. Who am I? I don't even know who I am. Oh my gosh. I wanted to talk about today, about this bronzer that I've had in my collection for the longest time, and I haven't reached for it, and I've just been rediscovering my love for this. This is the Milani Baked Bronzer in the shade Dolce. It's a pretty light bronzer, but it gives the perfect amount of glow to the skin, and it's very similar to Lila B's very expensive Be Sunkissed Bronze Beauty Bronzer. This is an absolute gorgeous bronzer. I love this. It's so buttery on application, like it just goes on so smooth, and you just get a flawless, like, warm tone every time. It's not even, I don't even know if you can tell from that other side, but it just gives the slightest amount of warmth to the face. I just love the seamless application you get from it. I just think it's so pretty, just perfect. But the Milani bronzer is, I feel like, looks exactly the same. Let me swatch the two of them next to each other so you guys can see. Hopefully they'll, let's see, do I have room to swatch? How about just on my hand right here? See how light they are? Oh gosh, see, it doesn't even really transfer. But here is the Milani one right here. Here is the Lila B. The Lila B actually seems a little bit more, maybe warmer toned than the Milani does. The Milani's a little bit cooler toned, which I actually like. So let's go on with the Milani, and I'll show you guys how this applies. My lights just lightened up a little bit, but do you see how it's, they look exactly the same, right? I mean, that perfect sun-kissed look. Just love it. Speaking of sun-kissed, oh my gosh, we'll be in Florida in a week or two. We're going to Disney. We're staying in Kissimmee, and I cannot wait. Oh my gosh, my girls are so excited. You guys will have to let me know your Disney recommendations down below. I think we're just gonna do one day in Epcot, just because my 3.5-year-old is obsessed with Frozen, and there's a Frozen ride there. There's a Princess Lunch, Ayrshire. I don't know the name of it, but supposedly there's this big princess lunch. You do a brunch, all the princesses come out. But yeah, let me know if there's anything else you guys think we should check out. I'm so excited. I hopefully will have a video next week and the week after that. Hopefully I have time this weekend to catch up on some things, but yeah, here is my finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this. There were some hits, definitely some misses as far as the dupe situation goes. This Milani bronzer, definite dupe. Another Milani product, this nude lip cream, is one of my favorites. Of course, the Essence mascara. Oh, and this NYX BB cream, so excited to put this back into my makeup bag and start reaching for this again. Such a gorgeous finish, loving this. And that Kylie blush was so pretty. Oh, and of course this Purito sunscreen. This will be coming with us to Florida for sure. Even I'll put it on the girls too because it's just a mineral sunscreen with no irritants in here, so I feel like it'll be fine for the kids. So yeah, so many great things, lots of good finds. Let me know if you guys like dupes videos. I'd love to film more of these. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next one. Hopefully it won't be too much longer and I'll have one up for you guys soon. And yeah, thank you guys again and I'll see you guys in my next one. See you guys.